Coming to you once again from the Illegal Shift Studio. It is another episode of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Carroll. Let's open this. And Andrew Pappas and Jason Kiefer, I begin today with good news. We can all rest easy now because Kamala Harris, the vice president, still vice president, 9 more days left, has posted on her social media. What?
I'm opening my hint water.
Okay.
He hasn't introduced anybody else yet.
No, I just said Andrew Pappas and Jason Kiefer.
Actually,
All right, cool. Got it.
But Kamala Harris has taken the extraordinary step to post on her social media these words of comfort.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Throughout the day, these are the words of the vice president. Throughout the day, I have remained in touch with state and local officials in California. President Biden and I continue to closely monitor the ongoing wildfires. And our administration is extending every federal resource available to support response efforts.
Wow.
So there is the words of comfort and reassurance from the vice president.
That's funny.
Of the United States.
That's funny because he brushed her hard at the freaking funeral today.
I was gonna say
It looked like she had
here to a
frickin-
douchebag.
He looked like he looked like. I mean,
God.
He brushed her so hard.
Can you imagine?
I didn't get to see any of it.
Can
I
you
heard
imagine
about it.
if she would have won the election?
I
mean,
think about it every day.
what a fucking nightmare.
We'd be living it right now. We'd be. I don't know if this show would be going on. I'd probably be in therapy somewhere, sedated. I'd be moving. I'm moving out of the country.
Oh my God.
Not you, Andrew, but yeah, when you say I'm moving out of the country, please do. Go ahead.
No, that's you know
Have
what I'm
at it.
talking about. I like
Fucking-
this camera angle. You got about 3/4 of me off the camera. It's great.
Well, it's the good part of you.
That's
Less is more,
my
Andrew.
skinny part.
Less is more. Just remember that.
Well, we don't have a whole
David
lot,
Muir needs to learn.
don't
that.
have a whole lot of room to work.
Did you see the video of David Muir, the ABC News anchor? So he's out there with his. Did you see this?
Oh wait, with the
I
fire
did
coat
not.
on?
Yeah, he's out there with his fire coat on.
Yes, I didn't know who it was.
The fire coat that looks like it came right out of the fucking box.
Oh, of course it
right out of the plastic.
Yeah.
And a trick that they do in TV that if you got something like if a woman's got a dress on, or you got a jacket on that doesn't fit you right and it's sagging, then they take a clothespin or one of those
binder clips.
Yeah, one of those things they use for that. And they just grab a bunch of material on the
bunch
back
it-
and
bunch
they
it up.
clip it on the back to give you it looks like it's a little more
Fitted.
fit.
Yeah.
So David Muir, I mean, he wasn't even in an area where there was an active fire going on.
Puts the fire coat on.
But he puts his fire coat on and then turns the standard
Sideways.
As you can see, this building behind me is completely devastated. And then you can see the clothespins.
It's all wide. It's all wide open. And shit.
No, it was all. He looked like fucking.
It's on his back.
He looked like Edward Scissorhands. I mean, he had fucking this shit all up and down his backs, and he was all. And I mean, you got to talk about it. What a vain douchebag.
Vain.
You're sitting there,
probably pulling down
narcissistic.
$35 million a year.
That's fine, but what a narcissistic prick that you're sitting there. People are.
It's a media guy. Vane. What are you talking about? It's media.
What's this on Dan's back here?
Oh my God!
It's fucking media people.
Damn,
They're
it's radio.
fucking vain.
Oh, for God's sake!
I did not get to.
But
see
I got to tell you, I mean,
it's
I really feel I sort of have the same feeling that I have about these wildfires in Los Angeles that I had about what happened in New Orleans. This was something that simply did not have to happen.
Absolutely.
And Trump, and it's amazing to go back, and we've got some video we're going to roll here in just a little bit of Donald Trump standing right next to Gavin Newsom, as close as Jason is to me right now, telling him, here's what you have to do to prevent these fires from happening. Because there was a fire in 2018 when Trump was president. He went to California. It was called the Camp Fire. There was a campfire and the Woolsey fire. And there was nearly 1,000 people unaccounted for. And Trump went out there representing the federal government when he was president.
You want me to show that?
And no, I don't want to play that right now.
Okay.
But the thing is,
just trying to.
Trump has been talking about this. And the other thing that I found today, when Trump started talking about this back in 2018, he has spoken about it. It's amazing the amount of video that has popped up. He talked about it during the campaign. He talked about it yesterday. He talked about it at a briefing that he had. I mean, he's talked about this multiple times, and the video of this has all popped up. And we don't have time to show you everything today, but I found these articles that were seeking to fact check the president, talking about, well, he doesn't know anything about the California situation. Completely wrong about the water. You know, our fire hydrants are ready to go at a moment's notice. So who was right and who was wrong?
How about talking to firemen?
Yeah.
How about talking to the fire chief?
Look, the simple truth of the matter is, Dan's right. This is a tragedy that was entirely preventable. I believe, and I know we're going to roll into it, but we're going to discuss why all this stuff happened. But just it's simply, I believe, and we're going to document all this today, or as much as we can.
I'm going to say preventable, but
the fire, no,
inevitable that it happens every year.
Well, no, yes,
right,
but
given
the priorities of the state and actually to a large extent the federal government and what they have done, it's very, actually, to be fair, it's very similar to what we're living through in the city of Cincinnati right now. The priorities of the local government are such that when something bad happens, they're unable to handle it.
Right.
Because they've diverted their priorities and their funds to areas that take away from their basic responsibility, which is providing public safety. So that includes firefighting and police and EMS. Okay. So when firemen show up to a fire hydrant and it's drier than, I don't want to say what it's drier than, but it's just pretty dry. And don't do it. Don't you do it. I know what you want. Well, you probably want to say something we shouldn't say.
I was going to say drier than a Flabian private area. How about that?
That's pretty dry.
It's not where I was going, but that'll work.
That's drier than dry.
That'll work.
But I mean, I'll just say this, and there's no water coming out. It's not moist. It is hard to fight a fire. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So they leave. I mean, they have nothing. And to say this, decades of preventing people from clearing dead brush out of forested areas and actually anywhere in the whole private area, the public lands, the right of ways, all that stuff on the side of the hills. Decades of neglect, and because they kowtow and bow to the environmentalist leftists and don't want to get on their bad side, which is their base, you're now reaping what you sow. And, again, I constantly beat this drum. Guess what? Elections have consequences. And I don't wish anything bad on anyone out there. It's a tragedy what's occurring. And my heart breaks for these people. But you've elected incompetent people, and we're going to get into, especially the mayor of Los Angeles. We're going to get into that in this program and document her radical background and how incompetent she is.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. And our friend Eric Tanzi reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, I need fireman terms. Like, what the fuck is actually happening?" And the way I explained to him was, they have a water system just like we do. They got fire hydrants, but they have a redundancy with these reservoirs that when the water system gets overwhelmed, they pull from the reservoirs to push out to the hydrants, and then they're supposed to be refilling. Well, they didn't have the reservoirs full as they were supposed to be.
Well, not only do they not have the reservoirs full, they've been destroying reservoirs to have wild rivers flow free again, because it might impact the sex life of a smelt somewhere downstream. So they destroy. Everyone likes a smelt.
Very important fish.
Very important smelt. Yes. And the amount
of the snail darter. You gotta have
that's correct. Yeah. And the amount of rainwater that they fucking allowed just to run into the ocean, rather than capture it. Reservoir. Let me explain something to you. Knowing a bit about commercial development, reservoirs do two things. Yes, large reservoirs are fun to go wash your private parts in and swim and everything else. Okay. That's a lot of fun. However, and some people need to do it more than others. However, reservoirs' basic purpose is a water supply for such things as fire and drinking water and everything else. And when you have radical environmental leftist groups suing the state, and the state populated by radical leftists who are like, let's tear down this dam. Yes. Let's break this dam down and let the river flow free again. You lose all that. So, hey, you're getting what you voted for. Just like the poor people here in Mount Adams whose streets haven't been plowed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the city, I mean, not to go too much into the weeds, city manager of Cincinnati sent out a message today. Hey, be patient. It fucking snowed Sunday.
Right.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. That's right.
Said, be patient. We'll get to your street eventually. I know folks who haven't had their street touched. Newsflash, it's going to snow again Friday.
Yes.
They're fucked.
I saw a funny meme today. It says, you know what? Besides your street hasn't been plowed.
What's that?
Your mom.
Your mom. Mom. If my mother's listening, I mean, she's going to tell me to punch you.
I found it amusing.
My dad will punch you. He's
But no, it's such a crock of shit. And our thumbnail leading into this, in the fact that our current president, who is obviously on his way out, and has been for the last couple of years, he went out there and he talked, but he talked. He didn't really answer any questions. He talked and said, hey, we're going to give you help. It's going to take a long time to get you back together, which is not going to be his problem. So it's almost like the movie Office Space, where he's like, Dan, Don, doesn't matter. Not going to work here anymore. He's out. He doesn't give a shit. So Donald Trump's going to have to come in, and his cabinet's going to have to help this, right? But he wouldn't answer any questions. But
of course not.
But he did say, and I'm going to try to find a quote in here. Let's see where it's
is this the good news, bad news?
The good news is I'm a great grandfather as of today.
Here's the deal.
So never mind you
the only bad part about
shit
that
in California
is that the audio quality is so piss poor on that. Otherwise, it would have been on nonstop.
I didn't have.
Hey, you lost everything, and you have nothing but the shirt on your backs. But guess what?
I'm a great grandfather.
I'm a great grandfather.
Please,
and wait a second, I'm confused. Does this include the strippers, baby, or not? I don't know. What is that?
That's actually a fair question.
I'm asking a question here. I'm not trying to be coy.
It's a fair question.
Because I don't know if we count that baby or not.
I don't know if they counted that baby or not.
They deduct.
Well, that would just be a grandchild, not a.
That's right.
Not a
grandchild. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Fucked up.
But he had all kinds of things. Like, oh, we're going to give you help. We're going to give you help. The government's here for you. Which, again, I'm going to throw Western North Carolina in there.
Oh.
Yeah, the government was there for you
those
fuckers
people,
too.
Those people are still living in tents, and it's snowing, and they're freezing their balls
off. They have
off.
Amish making small houses.
Correct. And the government told the Amish to stop. You know what the Amish said? F off. We're still making these freaking small houses.
But you've got our president, who just so sentimental. Hey, on the bright side, I'm going to be a great grandfather. You fucking asshat clown.
And with that, I'm out. See you later.
Right. Getting back on the plane. I'm heading back to D.
But the more serious part about this, I think, though, is that these days the presidential campaigning never stops. And already one of the front runners for the Democrat nomination for 2028 is the governor of California.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I really hope that Americans have a memory that will span 4 years on this.
That's a bold.
I know. I mean, because there's so much water gets under the bridge, we forget about these things. But Gavin Newsom is making an absolute fool of himself, and he did it. He has done it in multiple ways. But when this is an excellent chance for him to exhibit outstanding traits of leadership. And he's not done it.
It's hard to. You can't fake that, though, Dan.
No, you can't fake. He doesn't. But he doesn't have it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, he never has.
No, he never has. But what is he's probably 6'4", 6'5". He's a tall guy,
hair,
good looking guy.
He's like 6'6" with his hair.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how he does that.
I don't know. He probably could have been. Well, I don't want to say what he could have been if he wasn't in politics, but. The thing is,
are you going to get weird on us there, Dan?
No, I'm just saying. But he's not. He's smart in a way. He's glib. He's
slick.
He's slick.
He's slick. I don't know if he's smart.
He can fool a lot of people.
He's slick, and he's been groomed since a child to be slick. It's in the family genes. He is a relative of Pelosi, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's a cousin.
He might be. I think you're right about that.
And I'll tell you
that doesn't hurt either.
No, that doesn't hurt at all.
John from Comcenter said he's tall.
He's tall. But the problem is you cannot fake leadership. Either you have it or you do not. and he does not possess it. And this, amongst everything else going on in California, and the worst part about this, and I was talking to someone out there today in San Diego, and a lot of these people, San Diego, you know what that means. Anyway, it comes from
Wales, Virginia.
But
don't derail him while he's going. Don't derail him.
It's on a roll.
You fucking derail him.
Hey, how many of
the whole thing about scholars?
How many people out there just recently at the end of the year lost their fire coverage because insurance companies are pulling out of the state? A lot.
I've got a great piece on that, and I want to get into that a little bit later. I mean,
so this is a heartbreartbreaking, and the governor doesn't talk about that. I
mean, it's a perfect storm.
Of ineptitude.
DEI,
malfeasance.
I mean,
use a lot of legal words.
Elected people not being focused on the right issues.
Halitosis.
So the first day of the fires, Gavin Newsom,
fungal tonus,
said that he said, "Well, Joe Biden just happens to be in town today." I sent him a text, and he said, "Hey, whatever you need, I'm there for you." So instead of showing leadership, Gavin Newsom essentially runs to daddy, the big daddy federal government, and says, "You know what? I fucked up here. I need you to have my back." And Joe Biden's right there. I've got your back with whatever you need.
Did you see the woman that cornered him in the car with her mask as he was driving through her neighborhood? And he said, "I'm on the phone with the president right now."
Yeah.
She's like begging him, "What are you going to do for me?" Now, let me say this.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything. My buddy Joe Biden.
That's right. He's like, "Well, I want to hear." She goes, "It's funny. The video's out there." And she goes, "I want to hear what you're going to, I want to hear the conversation." He's like, "I'm waiting on the phone for the president. Not I'm going to do this. Not I'm going to do that. I'm waiting for the president." Now, to be fair, this lady was wearing a mask, so she's probably going to continue to vote Democrat. So,
probably. Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. But I'm like, I this guy has no leadership qualities. He probably was on freaking Open Table making a reservation some swanky French place to go eat, like he did the last time they had the mask mandate, and he was caught in that. What was that called? What was that swank joint? He was
French Laundry.
The French Laundry.
French
I think
Laundry.
I would remember that, right?
So let's roll that cut. He was being interviewed by Anderson Cooper on CNN today, and you'll hear the conversation here, and I'll give you my reaction after we.
We also have somebody in the chats that's somewhat new that doesn't like us.
Play the soundbite. Here we go.
Somewhat new.
We have a new hater.
That's good. That's cool.
We have a new hater.
Gavin Newsom. Here we go.
The president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives
because of you.
Kids
You piece of shit.
lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it.
Oh, fuck.
I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden, and he had the backs of every single person in this community.
Is that politicizing it?
Try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message.
Yeah, it's all different, right?
Yeah. So
it's all
okay
different
on one side
to
politicize it, but the other side's not okay. I just
so
want to
Anderson
understand.
Cooper tees him up to take a shot at Donald Trump,
right?
And the reason he doesn't want to have anything to do with Donald Trump is because Trump was already there.
Yep.
Let's go back to 2018.
Yep.
There was a fire,
and
we talked about this. There was a fire during Trump's administration, and it was in Northern California. And I think a lot more people actually died than this fire. But
I mean, this one's not done yet. I mean,
this one's not done either.
This thing's going to rage for fucking weeks.
Yeah. So Donald Trump went there, and you'll see the video. Look who he's standing right next to, Gavin Newsom, and this is Donald Trump not politicizing things. He was there saying, "Look, the federal government's going to bail you out. We're going to do what we can, but the other part of that is you've got to take steps to make sure this doesn't happen again."
Absolutely.
And that's the kind of
that's
thing.
not politicizing. That's just calling it as it is.
Gavin Newsom doesn't want any part
of
that.
No, he don't want to hear that.
Yeah, hit that soundbite. Here we go.
Cleaned out and protected. You got to take care of the floors. The floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. And they spent a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem. So I know everybody's looking at that to that end, and it's going to work out clean.
So there's the Trumpster talking to Gavin Newsom. Hey, look, Gavin, I got you covered this time, but we got to take steps to make sure this is going to happen. Yeah. And I've got one more soundbite here. This is from 2021. And Gavin Newsom is talking about, well, now that Donald Trump is gone, this one right here. Yeah. And someone did a little editing here and put Gavin Newsom like he's standing in front of the fires that are happening today. But it's actually a cut from 2021. And he's talking about how great it's going to be with Joe Biden in the White House. And here we go.
Yeah, like right after.
Here we go.
That's what's different now is we are committed as a team, as a partnership with the legislature and other state agencies, including now the federal government, no longer a sparring partner, but a working partner. Federal government, where we're not addressing headwinds, but tailwinds in terms of the support, a memorandum of understanding, doubling our respective commitments to vegetation management and forest management and prescribed burns to support the Biden administration with resources, not just rhetoric, to help this collective cause. It's a different paradigm. It's a different.
Yeah, what a bunch of crap.
Now that's not political, is it?
No, we're not politicizing
it. No, but that's okay.
Him saying that now that Joe Biden's
everything's going to be great.
We're going to work with the federal government.
How'd that work out?
We're going to do all this mitigation.
How'd that work out?
We're going to take care. We're going to do forest management. He didn't do shit.
Listen, there's people that I've spoken to that were even on the radio today that were talking about how in the areas affected, especially by
it's easy from the cheap seats, isn't it, you assholes?
By Hollywood, that they have never ever done any clearing of the dead brush in this area that's on fire by his house. He said, I've lived here for 40 years, the last 30 years plus, they have never come in and cleared out the dead brush. That is typical California. That's part of the problem. As far as making cheap seats, listen, if you can't learn from tragedies, I mean, whatever this Stevie boy is talking about, if you can't learn from tragedies and place blame where blame lies, how are we going to get better as a society? How are we going to learn from this? How are we going to prevent this from happening in the future? And if the poor people of California haven't learned yet that voting for radical leftist, environmentalist backed Democrats is not serving them well, then I can't help them. I mean, and you know what, Dan? Jason, the insurance companies that are left here, if you understand, it's easy to hate on an insurance company, but you know what they do? They spread risk. They take a bet, they spread the risk, they spread the cost among a lot of people.
And they hedge their bets.
They hedge their bets. And you know what? The fact of the matter is the ones that are left in the state are going to spread those losses, and they're going to be staggering losses, judging from the devastation that I've seen. Who's going to end up paying for that? You and I in our insurance rates.
Well,
is that talking? Wait, I'm sorry. Is that talking from the cheap seats, or is that allowing me to have an opinion on a problem that I'm going to have to reach in my pocket and fucking pay for?
I don't know.
But I'm not allowed to have an opinion on this because it's the cheap seats. That is a bunch of horseshit. When you get your hand out of my fucking pocket, then I'll stop having a fucking opinion.
Boom, nailed it. I don't know.
Seats. Oh, it's easy to talk.
This is the first time I've seen this.
It's easy to make just a common sense, completely unbiased, completely cogent opinion of this and have a thought about it, because this is maddening to me. You have reservoirs that are empty because of smelts. You have brush that's built up over years and years, and Donald Trump's exactly right. Not only that, in these countries where they clear that out, you know what they do? They take that waste wood and they use it. They use it for making shit.
Furniture.
No, not furniture, but they pulp and stuff like that. But yes, you're right. But, we're going to sit there and say, oh, no, you can't touch it. And then a fire breaks out and it just ravages the whole area. Great.
Everybody.
And I feel, now let me say one more thing, because I'm kind of on a roll here. It pisses me off when stupid people make stupid comments. But here's the deal.
I don't even know who he is.
I don't care who he is.
I like
He's a nobody. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, I feel terrible people lost their homes, but I'm getting a little annoyed at the news when they focus on, Paris Hilton lost her home. How many hundreds of other people have lost their homes that don't have the financial wherewithal to rebuild or have nowhere to go? Paris Hilton probably has 3, 4, 5 homes.
She went to another one.
How many hotels does she have? I mean, my point is, I feel bad that she lost her shit just as much as, but not any more so than anyone else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not more tragic that Paris Hilton lost her home versus, Bill Smeltsky over there or whoever the fuck he is. So I'm annoyed. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off. And the reason, as Dan has mentioned, that I'm probably more pissed off than normal, we need a cough button, is that
I muted it.
oh,
Fuck
you're
off.
Cool. Here's the deal. The reason I'm more pissed off than average, Typhoid Mary over there, is that, you know what? This was preventable. This didn't have. There's another beer. This didn't have to happen. That's the most frustrating part of it.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit.
How so?
There, in the fact that, yes, preventable.
Well, the fire was going to happen.
Let me
but
finish.
The scope.
Shut up. Let me
shut
finish.
up.
I let you talk.
All right, go ahead.
Preventable, yes. And yes, if they would have gotten some of the brush out and, the environmentalists like, no, you got to leave it go.
Or had water.
Whatever. But preventable, but inevitable. It happens every year. Happens every year, right?
No question.
So it's going to happen. So you do the best that you can to prevent it. You have water in the reservoirs.
Would the scope have been so devastating? My point.
No, I don't think it would.
That's what I mean by preventable. Right. Yes, a fire would have happened. Now I've seen, and
but you can get on top of it and be done.
Put out. Now I've seen reports that, and we were talked about it. I don't really want to help spread them, but we've saw evidence that these fires were set intentionally. I mean, that just shattered. I mean, they had 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Major homeless issues there, much like we have here in Cincinnati.
Under bridges.
There are homeless encampments that happen there, and they really didn't do anything to knock that down. But I just want to one of the other aspects of this has been all the DEI elements that come into play here, and it's largely through the the city of Los Angeles Fire Department.
Absolutely.
Even though they are not directly responsible for battling these fires, there's a mutual aid requirement, and I would say that what happens in Los Angeles County in terms of fire responses is largely driven by what happens in the city of Los Angeles. Would you tend to agree with that, Mr.
Yeah.
Firefighter?
Yep.
All right. There has been a major priority, and the Federalist is a great website, and they wrote a piece about this, and when they did a deep dive into what's been happening in the Los Angeles Fire Department. So there's been a major priority of the Los Angeles Fire Department, which in 2022 launched its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau, purportedly focused on ensuring a safe and diverse and inclusive workplace for all. In January 22, then Mayor Eric Garcetti checked multiple DEI boxes by appointing Kristen Crowley as fire chief, the first female LGBTQ chief in Los Angeles. That year, according to fire department data, of the more than 6,500 applicants to the fire department, 70% were people of color, 8% were female, which was double the percentage of female firefighters within the department. Let's see. The fire department girls camp is one avenue for recruitment for female firefighters. So girls between 14 and 18 can explore firefighting. That's all fine and good. The people who lost homes will be glad to know that DEI takes up 4 full pages of the Los Angeles Fire Department City 2023 to 2026 strategic plan. LAFD has been busy training for fire responses by reviewing the LAFD library from a DEI perspective to ensure policies, procedures, and language is consistent with the department's values. The strategic plan also describes intended spending to bolster its mission, including the following sustainability measures: reduce electricity usage at all facilities by implementing eco-friendly upgrades to lighting and power and HVAC systems, install solar energy parking shade structures, implement technology to monitor the department's net carbon emissions, purchase electric vehicles to create a zero emissions fleet. And Jason, you and I talked about that one time when LA got its first electric fire truck.
How'd that work out?
So
like
it's hard.
Piece of shit.
It's hard to imagine that much money is left for fire suppression when you consider all the green spending combined with a massive budget cut. The New York Post reports the LA mayor, Karen Bass, slashed the fire department budget by $17.6 million in fiscal 2024 25.
What'd she do with that money?
Then they talk about the truckloads of surplus gear that went to Ukraine. So you've got all this stuff. Let's see. Here we go. The mayor's office and the fire department have been collecting data on homeless encampments, tracking their needs in a way that it makes sense that the fire department examines encampments where cooking fires that normal cities would ban sometimes get out of control. Channel 7, ABC in Los Angeles, reported previously in 2018, there was an average of 7 fires a day at encampments in Los Angeles. In 2021, that number jumped to 25 fires a day in Los Angeles at these homeless encampments. The word homeless appears 11 times in the strategic plan. Together, the words device and diversity appear 16 times. The word water appears just twice. The word hydrant does not appear at all in the strategic plan. So, Jason, just let me ask you this. The fire chief, the guy that I know, that you and I both know, that for a short time was a Cincinnati fire chief. Whenever we would talk shop with him, he would always impress on me that his number one priority was what? Put the fire out.
Yeah. Put the fire out. There's no problem.
Didn't matter what time of day it was. Didn't matter what the subject matter was. You could say, Mike, what's the number one priority? Cincinnati fire. Put the fire out. Put the fire out. Everything else comes after that.
Yep.
The DEI stuff. No, put the fire out. Put the fire out. Put the fire out. Put the fire out. Apparently, in Los Angeles, that's really not the number one priority.
No. Are you surprised?
I'm just saying, this is not wild speculation. This is not commenting from the cheap sheets. This is their policy. I'm reading from their policy.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
This is what they practice every day. This is what their priority is. So when you have your priorities skewed to this degree, then you get the results that we see getting piped across our TV sets for the last 3 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to have, when you yank money, especially that exorbitant amount of money, $17 million,
17.8. It's a lot.
$17.8 million from, and Los Angeles is a lot bigger than where I work, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot bigger in the city of Cincinnati, but that's a shit ton of money. So you're losing staffing, you're losing equipment.
You can't drive around and do the basic things like, I don't know, checking fucking fire hydrants.
All the
Could
resources.
you do that? I mean, all that stuff gets cut because you're out making sure that you're checking boxes.
The word
with
hydrant
DEI.
is not even in their strategic plan.
Right.
But there's 4 pages talking about DEI stuff.
Hey man, like I said, hopefully the people out there in California.
But it's going to get shot to the water department. That's
they're going to they're going to try.
The blame is going to the water
They're
department.
going to try to blame the water department, but eventually, if you look at it,
all
the
comes back around.
The buck stops at the governor's office. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. No, it does.
And you know, and to be fair,
but it goes
the mayor,
right. It goes right through the mayor's office.
That's right. It's from the mayor that hires the staff, fire department, etc. Those aren't elected; those are appointed, hired positions.
Correct.
And you know, let's talk about the mayor a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, how has let me ask
shit.
you a question because maybe people might not know. When this broke out, where was the mayor?
In Ghana. Fucking Ghana.
Is it?
Because
I heard Ghana's really nice, especially this
now.
time of year.
I will say I'm going to preempt this. I'm going to hammer her, but I'm going to preempt this. People are allowed to take vacations. I get it.
She wasn't there on
wait.
Just hold on. Just hear me out. Hear me out. Because I used to hold a position that was fairly high, and it's expected that you're allowed to go on vacation, right?
No question.
Something happens,
come home.
You come home. Now, they're saying that when she heard that this was happening, she directly made it back. But the problem is that's not necessarily quantified yet, but also wouldn't fucking talk or answer any questions.
A lot of tourism in Ghana this time of year.
Well,
I mean, is it like
a
lot?
She was in Ghana because
it's not my place.
There's a new president there who is being sworn in.
Okay.
The Biden administration put together a delegation to go there and represent the United States.
I'm just being
for
nice.
the swearing in
I'm
of
being
this
nice
delegation.
before I
You do
hammer her.
realize this
Somehow
this mayor was on the short list of VP candidates.
Yes.
You do know that, right?
Yes.
Somehow she was on this list, on this
That's
delegation
exactly
to go
right.
to on the taxpayer dime.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So the warnings about the
I'm trying
Santa
to be
Ana
nice.
winds,
at
the warnings
first,
about the Santa Ana
before I
winds
hammer it.
came out
You're built.
on, I believe it was January 1st. And then on January 4th or 2nd, I think, and I forget which day it was, but after the warnings came out about the high risk for fire and big trouble with fire, because the forecasters knew the Santa Ana winds were going to be particularly brutal this year.
Right.
She still chose to leave
So I've never gone to
despite
Ghana.
this elevated risk.
I've never gone to Ghana.
Nor do I have any
Ghana.
desire.
Neither have
I heard the Ria is really nice there.
I knew it was coming.
Rather stick a hot nail down my piss hole than go to Ghana, to be honest with you.
But she, even after the fires broke out, she still chose to stay another day. And then the thing got to such a critical mass, she had no choice but to come
The
back.
optics got so bad she had to come home. But I think she did a great job when they caught her at the airport.
The guy who did a great job is his name is David Blevins. He's a reporter. I think he's from Ireland with Sky News, which is a worldwide news outlet. And I have no idea what he was doing in Los Angeles, but I saw some video of him covering the fires. And he found the mayor at the airport the minute she got back and stepped off the plane. And the video that he posted
Was funny.
it speaks points. Here we go. It's great.
David Blevins from Sky News in the UK. We're fire chiefs say that they're really
Look at all you
stretched to the
boxing
limit and
around.
running out of water. What have you got to say to that? Have you no response to that? Do you owe citizens an
Office of
apology
the
for
Mayor.
being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you
I'm gonna
nothing
let
to
this
say
play out.
today?
Oh, yeah.
It's a little long, but it's worth
Absolutely
it.
nothing to say to the citizens today. Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Guy is awesome.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
Love her jacket.
No
Yeah.
apology
Office
for them?
of the Mayor.
Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
This guy's relentless. I love this guy.
He's awesome.
He is awesome. She's like, open the fucking door.
Yeah, he just stays right behind him. His camera dude's
You
fucking
want to
good
go this
too.
way? Yes. I want to go that way. I want to get the hell out of here. Look at the lady pushing her out of the way. Lady's got a booger.
Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
Madam Mayor,
She's
you-
like, let me out, let
you
me out.
speak
let me
English,
out.
Madam Mayor? Oh, thank God
Madam
I
Mayor,
get to
just a
leave.
few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Oh, can't get out. Sorry, can't get out. Sucks to be you.
So there you go. And huge props to David Blevins of Sky News. I mean, that guy, that is how it's done.
That's a reporter.
That guy was on it. And listen to the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Do you regret slashing that money from the budget? I mean, do you have anything to say to the citizens? Should you have been in Ghana while all this was going on? I mean, that and look at, she's got nothing. Absolutely
Nothing to say.
I mean, I don't know how long the flight from West Africa to
Gotta be
Los
long, right?
Angeles is.
Gotta be far.
To 12 hours, 13, 14 hours maybe.
It's gotta be.
And that entire time you're on that flight,
You don't
couldn't
prepare a statement?
project
You couldn't prepare a statement
that
to
you're
read?
going to be assaulted at the airport by the media.
You have to say
and you've
something.
got something to say.
So
I
This is-
am looking into it. I'm looking into it. I'm getting ready to get back to my team. I'm looking into it.
We-
That's all you have to say.
we know some.
That's it.
The funny thing about this is it's very illustrative because we now know
We
more
are going
about
to
this
shift.
lady.
We're going to shift gears once you're done.
We know more about this lady. This lady is not just an innocent, hey, I'm just cooking cookies at home, want to be mayor type person. She has a background, And because of the beauty of the internet and media, that nothing is gone. We know about this lady, and there's a gentleman we're going to share a little bit. Are we snipping it a little bit?
Which one?
The video of the guy explaining who she is and her background. This lady is got a long history
this dude.
of radicalism. And I will say this, if you know your history, Fidel Castro ran Cuba with an iron fist. And in the 70s, it was pretty difficult to get to Cuba. I mean, that wasn't too long after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I want you to listen just a bit. We're not going to play. There's a long piece of this, and hopefully you can see the URL, because we do have electricity and internet here, and you can get to it, unlike California, where that's what she told people to do. Play this little clip, and people can find it, and we'll share his name.
Remember this date, but first, let me introduce you to Karen Bass. Back in the 1970s, community activist Karen Bass went on at least 15 trips to Cuba,
15?
Many with a group known as the Venceremos Brigade, a Marxist group started by the Castro regime to subvert American interests, weaken democracies, and spread communism around the world. Founded in 1969, the Venceremos Brigade organized trips to Cuba every year for half a century. They attracted the most radicalized and delusional segments of the American left, including overtly Maoist and pro-Soviet communist groups. In fact, a Los Angeles police investigator who infiltrated the group testified to Congress saying that to be a member of the brigade, you had to be confirmed as a Marxist-Leninist, as a brigadista, and then moving up the ranks to organizer for the Venceremos Brigade. Karen Bass visited Cuba every 6 months. Their mission? To radicalize young, impressionable American leftists in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare.
And let's for our audio listeners, as this is playing, this is a black man
Karen
talking
Bass
about
admits on her many
just for the
pilgrimages to
record,
Cuba,
you can see
she
the
went
name
to
there.
see Fidel Castro speak
Earl
several
Weber.
times, even calling him
He did run for
charismatic,
office, so it says
and
Earl
upon his
Weber,
death,
U.S. He's
praised
on
him,
X.
saying,
He's
the
on
passing of
Instagram.
Commandant and
Yes,
Jefe
it's check mark.
is a great loss to the people of Cuba.
I think
Even though the
they
people-
get the result. I think they get the gist of it. So, you know, this person is who the Democrat Party, and let's be fair, the Democrat Party chose to endorse her. Joe Biden decided she was too radical to be his VP, so he brushed over, but I guess he wanted to stay loyal to her, so that's why he sent her to Ghana, and you said, part of a delegation.
Mhm.
So it wasn't too radical to go to Ghana. I don't know what they just elected there, or the politics of Ghana.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much going on with this closer to.
So,
I mean, LA is not really that close to home, but I've been researching a lot of that. I really haven't done a dive into what's happening.
I just
in
think
Ghana,
that the thing on display
for
here is,
God's sake.
hey man, elections have consequences. This is who you elected, and now you're reaping the consequences of those actions. Not only at the LA level, the city level, but especially the state level.
So we're hammering fucking LA and the governor and the mayor, but as we normally don't throw comments from Beetlejuice on the screen, I'm throwing this on because I want legitimately to hear your guys' shit.
Oh God.
Do you guys have any thoughts on Trump's threats to Canada, Greenland, Denmark, and Panama? Where we at, fellas?
I mean,
This is worth
for me, or
talking
you
about.
want to take this? You
Yeah,
want me to
well,
take it?
I'll give you my thoughts.
I don't
on
think
it.
they're threats.
No, they are not threats.
They're not
These are. First of all,
We're going to own Greenland. We are going to own Greenland.
This is Trump just playing the media like an absolute fiddle, and all the fools and the Democrats. You know, they talk about Trump wanting to be an isolationist, want to withdraw from the rest of the world because he wants to do legitimate things, like have people in NATO pay their fair share, like get out of the United States. You know, have the United States stop carrying the freight for the United Nations, get away from this whole notion that we want to be under the thumb of the World Health Organization. So when the MSNBCs and the CNNs of the world see that, they talk about Trump wanting to be an isolationist. Well, how can he be an isolationist if he's looking at what's going on in the Panama Canal? And he's right about that. We are getting hosed over by when we have when we have all that trade going through the Panama Canal, and we are not in charge of it. We're the ones who built the canal. Jimmy Carter. Look, I know he's getting put in the ground today or tomorrow, but for God's sake, this whole notion of him giving away the Panama Canal, I remember it when I was a kid.
Yep.
It was not a good thing then. It's not a good thing now.
Right.
And if Trump, think about that. If Trump can pull off a deal to get back the Panama Canal, and then he's talking about, well, I want to name the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Listen, let me say
I
this.
mean, how great is that?
Let me say this.
love it. I mean,
You asked a question, or he asked a question, or Beetlejuice did. Look, I could care less if Trump is able to. I mean, you asked me a question. I don't care. I do find it amazing that what I don't hear from the media, and Dan, you can back me up on this. Trump in the last 2 weeks, or since the election, he's had more press conferences without a teleprompter and taken more questions than Joe Biden took in an entire 4 years of his administration.
Absolutely.
And I don't hear many people talking about that. I'd like to ask Beetlejuice, how's it feel now to have a president that is actually answering questions without a teleprompter and a name thing and call on this person and call on that person, who's actually being transparent with the American people? If he buys Greenland, great. I don't care.
He's straight up telling you, this is what I'm going to do.
Look,
the people of Greenland are like that
the
idea.
people of Greenland
They're
are
loving it.
population 59,000 or something like that. I want you to think about that.
55,000.
Okay, that's not much bigger than Anderson Township. That's the whole continent.
We talked about
buy Greenland for $1 trillion or whatever, I'm cool. I don't care. The Gulf of America cracks me up.
Greenland is like almost the same size as the United States, is it not? And it's huge.
Well, it's got a lot of ice, but
it's got a lot of ice, but it's got a lot of resources.
The other thing about his comment to Canada, that probably helped topple Trudeau, who was horrible, who caused the people of Canada to say, we don't want this guy anymore.
The Canadians hated him anyway.
That's right. So what do I give a shit about what Trump says jokingly or teasing? I think I agree with Dan. He's playing not only the media, he's playing people like 513 or Beetlejuice that can't that can't sit there and take a frickin', oh, he didn't rule that out. Yeah, okay, whatever, buddy. I mean, I'm not going to respond to your stupid comments. I would like you in the comments to say how refreshing it is for you to have a president that is actually in front of the press and taking questions from the press, unscripted questions from the press, and answering them competently without a teleprompter.
But it is
that
amazing.
Refreshing?
It is amazing the way he is dominating the news cycle.
Right. And for 2 hours.
Every day.
2 hours he's standing in front of the press. 2
every
hours.
Day. Every
standing
day.
There. But, he's old and he's infirm.
Yeah, no.
Joe Biden couldn't do it for 2 minutes.
Right.
You were damn close to voting for him. Damn close. And you were happily going to go vote for him. So you know what? Unless you're going to be honest, please, let's not mention Beetlejuice's drivel anymore.
This is Trump. This is Trump having fun. This is Trump having fun.
It is having fun.
I mean, that's
having a good time.
That's the one thing that
the fact that the people of Greenland
don't have a problem with it.
Want to get out of Danish control, and they want to come and be part of the United States.
He said, I don't think he's going to invade Greenland, but he said, would he use economic? I mean, maybe he might, maybe he might not.
He made the statement that I'm not against using military force, but he's not necessarily
not
going
serious about that. And the other thing is, you know what? He's not the first president to propose this.
Right.
So let's not act like it's so out of the box idea.
Exactly.
This is the one thing that women don't understand about men, or women, or really
this show's
extremely effeminate types don't understand about men.
What's that?
I'll give you a perfect example. Jason, how many times have you and I talked about, hey, we're going to jump on the motorcycles, we're going to take a 2-week-long trip, we're going to drive down to Florida, all the way down to the Keys, all that shit, right? So my wife hears me talking about that, and she's like, oh, you're just going to leave me here. You're going to go on the motorcycle and go away for 2 weeks.
Fuck me.
And I'm like, so she thinks that just because we're talking about it means that we've already got everything in the works. I said, we're just talking about it. It's something we would like
you would like to do.
And so she's taking it as if it's already written in stone. It's going to happen. No, this is what Trump is doing. Trump is just speaking extemporaneously. A thought pops in his head. Hey, the Gulf of America. Can you even
spell that fucking word?
What's that?
That you just used?
Extemporaneously.
Extemporaneously.
Yeah, that's a word.
That's how you spell it right there.
Look it up.
No, I know it's a word.
I'm just saying. when he was doing that news conference the other day, he thought, he's telling me because the what's the gal's name who's the head of Mexico right now, who doesn't have a Mexican
hold
sound?
on, I got it.
La
Hold on, I got it.
Presidencia.
I got it right here.
She doesn't have a Mexican sound.
La President.
Claudia Scheinbaum.
Yeah, Scheinbaum.
Chided.
How does someone
Chided
named Scheinbaum
President-elect
I have
Trump.
absolutely no idea.
No,
But the thing is,
I had a story on her.
Trump
did?
has talked about a little bit about what his border policy is going to be, how he's going to deal with Mexico. So she's pushing back on this, trying to play hardball.
So hold
and
on.
he's like, his next step is like, I'll just change the name of the Gulf of Mexico. to Gulf
So
of
don't go too far with that.
I
So
love
would you shut the fuck up for a second? Because
I'm just
watch
saying,
this.
it's
Because watch this.
hilarious.
I ironically had this where Mexico's president tries turning the tables with Trump. So it says Mexican President Claudia Scheinbaum chided President-elect Trump for saying he plans to rename the Gulf of Mexico. She's going to name the United States Mexican America. Let's see how far that fucking goes.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
And she goes,
Funny.
that sounds
you know what?
that
It's
sounds
mildly
nice.
Funny.
So Cincy 513, same
What
thing.
did I tell you?
The same thing. She's doing what fucking Trump's doing. So who's right and who's wrong?
It's just it's banter. I mean,
It's
it's
right.
whatever. It's
It's exactly
posturing.
what it
It's
is.
banter. It's not serious. I mean, this is why they don't get Trump, and they never will get Trump. Is they don't. He lets them get to them, and then they work themselves up into a froth. And they're like, he this and he that, and he said this and he said that. Meanwhile, let's look at what he's done. I mean, the guy gets results, and you know what?
He's not even in office yet
in
and already
10 days.
figuring shit
And how
out.
many days is it? It's 10 days.
Yep.
In
But-
10 glorious days, we'll be done with this shithole administration who is trying to kneecap this administration and a lot of environmental bullshit, closing drilling here, adopting rules, telling me what kind of water heater to buy, all this other crap. And
Right.
you know what? Donald Trump in 10 days is going to undo hopefully all of this shit.
Oh my
and get
God!
this country back on the
everything.
path.
Look how small and petty that is for Joe Biden and his administration to act the way that they're acting.
Oh, children.
To try and throw up all these roadblocks,
selling
all these-
portions of the wall,
all
for
these landmines,
cents on the dollar.
all this shit that's gonna they put a stink bomb here and a stink bomb.
And let me ask
there.
you this question. We didn't even talk about this. You remember when Joe Biden drained the strategic reserve and said he was going to refill it? Has he?
And no,
refilled
he
it?
still hasn't filled it back up.
Still
So
not
when he
refilled.
closes all these areas off to drilling, what is that going to do to the price of whoever's going to have to refill that strategic oil reserve, which is for strategic defense? What does that do to the cost of that?
It sends it through the roof.
Okay, so when he said I was going to refill it, I mean, is he being held accountable for that? Did any Democrat?
No,
I mean,
no
any
one's-
local
one's held
Democrat or
accountable
anybody
for that at
Democrat,
all.
any Democrat that might be watching the podcast and chiming in with their drivel, are they going to hold him accountable for that?
When Donald Trump wanted to refill the strategic petroleum reserve
At zero, almost.
at almost zero,
Correct.
and I think he would have been able to buy that oil like at 2 cents on the dollar.
There was a point when it was actually trading negatively. Now
but-
futures are weird,
But Schumer stepped in and said, "Oh, he's just trying to enrich his big oil friends." What a bunch of and then Joe Biden's like, "Oh, I'm going to make a great deal. I'm going to drain it when it's selling for $65 a barrel and refill it when it's going for 85 or 90."
and then through his
What a
actions,
genius. What a
through his
genius.
environmental actions, he's going to guarantee that the price in the future is going to be 85. Will probably look cheap. That's my point. But hey, it's okay. Trump is orange and he's a bad guy. Blah 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 blah. I thought the Democrats might have learned from their playbook that has failed so miserably. I thought they might have come up with maybe some new material about Donald Trump, and sadly, I think that their lack of just cleverness is being demonstrated here when they run right back to the same playbook that he's orange, man, he's bad, and he said this on blah, and he's just mean. Okay, that's fine. You know what? That might have worked in the past, but people this election have voted that they're voting for results and not for Democrat rhetoric. And on display here is that we have Democrats that are incompetent at the federal and state and local level.
Absolutely.
And your policies don't sell anymore.
So I have to throw kudos out to one of our loyal listeners, Falk's narrator, Brittany Falk around and find out. She sent me a bunch of these videos of I just played one while you guys were bantering back and forth about homeless people setting fires and shit. She's hit me a ton on Instagram, throwing us content, which we truly, truly appreciate, and it's awesome. And then fucking Joe Billy said, "Be fair, Pappas. He still has 10 days to refill the oil."
Yeah, he has 10 days left. He's 10 days. Well, he's got to figure out. He's got to figure out if he's gonna do preemptive pardons on any number of people still left that he hasn't pardoned yet. So, whatever, it's fine.
But no, Brittany, we appreciate you.
God, could you imagine
and
what's
please
going to
keep
happen
sending
the
that
night?
shit.
I mean, seriously,
God,
can you
it's gonna-
guys imagine the night before he leaves office?
Oh,
Can you imagine the shit that's going to come out of his office?
it's gonna
The shit
be-
that's going to come out of his diaper.
That's going to be horrendous.
Epic.
It's presidential gold.
digging for gold.
But the thing that really drives them craziest the most is that when we, like we've been talking about this fire thing, Trump was 100% right on what he was talking
He
about
said
with
100%.
California.
Take it.
Oh,
Drake.
I did.
But 100%. Little hint water there.
I got it going on.
But
with
yeah,
James
I mean,
McGee show,
everything
too.
is said about California and so many other things after the fact, we learn, because all you hear from everything that Trump proposes, everything he says, oh, it's wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, guess what?
Well, he
It
was
turns
right.
out he was right, and he's right, and he's right.
Right.
again.
I mean, you got to say when the man is right, he's right. You're quick to
Yeah.
criticize when he might, gore your ox there on, I don't know, the Gulf of America or something like that you're so offended by. But when he called a spade and he actually was correct on this and said, if you don't thin the forest out, the fires get more intense, they get more frequent, more destructive. Hey, man, he was right. So I'll wait for you to just issue a little, hey, he was right about that.
I was talking to a historian on my show the other night, a guy named Scott Powell, and he said it really is divine intervention that Trump is going to be the one in office when America celebrates
225?
its 250th anniversary.
Yes.
That's right, 250.
Yes.
200. I mean, think about that. And how great is it going to be that he's going to be the one that's there for the nationwide?
Well, how much is it going to chap the Democrats'
I
ass?
didn't even.
It's going to be?
I never would. have
It's
even-
going to be epic.
I
mean,
never
that's-
would have put those numbers together.
The
but yeah.
chapping
Yeah.
of ass, it's gonna. I mean, there's not gonna be
Oh.
enough
It's
butt ointment to freaking unchap that ass. That's gonna be going
Well,
around.
Don't give
Chap
Beetlejuice any ammunition.
Here, dude, I'll give you this little tidbit. Dr. Boudreaux's butt rash treatment really works well. They're not a sponsor yet on this show, but we might consider them, considering the ass chapping that's going to be going
I
on.
call-
in the next
I-
4 years.
I also use Dr. Kiefer's double nutted root juice.
Dr. Kiefer's
Double nutted root juice.
one of the great sponsors we have on this show is our buddy Rick Barrick. And
you're rolling into that.
when the time comes to borrow money, there are always questions that you have. And if you have questions, we want to suggest that you contact our buddy Rick Barrick. He has been helping customers unlock their financial potential for almost 30 years now. His experience, he teams up with Cross Country Mortgage, the second largest mortgage company in America, and they combine that expertise to offer you a solution for every borrowing need. If you're talking about a home purchase, you're talking about a refinance, you're talking about a low interest home equity line of credit to maybe consolidate some debt. Rick has all the options tailored to your unique situation. And if that situation involves maybe a credit score where you've had some challenges in the past, you want to talk to Rick and see how he can get you and help get you on the right path. Check out the number. It's right there on your screen, 513-383-2923. And you can email Rick at rick.barrick.ccm.com. You do that, and you're just a step away from a personalized mortgage solution.
Hey, we got
You gonna
another.
read it? I was waiting for you to read it.
That's,
You said you wanted to hit it last time.
that's normally your shit.
No, not NMLS 18738. So we
There you
have
go.
to say that.
You have to say it.
I know.
I thought
But-
Jason was going to say
No,
it.
but normally you do it.
Well, I was waiting for you to do it.
Hey, we've got another one. One of these two.
Ohio Valley Productions?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
If you-
Boudreaux's butt
can
paste.
you dial that up?
I think I can. Give me a minute.
Boudreaux's, Jill's right. She knows her stuff. Boudreaux's is the best.
I'm catching up. Oh, Boudreaux's butt paste.
It's like gold.
Hold on. I haven't dialed this one up in a while. We have to find this a second.
All right, so how should we fill this?
Talk
this
amongst
dead air?
yourself.
Do we have any videos we didn't get to? I think we did.
This is I have a story, not a
Okay.
video, but I got a story while he's dialing up
Yeah.
because we do have more than one sponsor. So
Wow.
it's a principality.
It'd be
thing.
a lot easier if I had my mouse.
But here, hold on.
What?
Let me dial this up. So normally, Kiefer likes his the teacher fucking the student type shit.
Oh,
Well,
How did we not get to this?
This came from Jill Billy,
Oh.
and I was impressed. And she was like, "This is gold. This is podcast gold." So let me make sure. Yeah,
we do talk about when teachers are busted for having sex with their students. This is similar.
It's very
Ish.
similar.
This is working on the job.
But I got to remove
This is
it.
like-
I got to remove it and then pull it back in.
It's like getting a job with benefits, right? You're like, hey, what are the benefits of this job? Apparently, getting plowed is one of the
So,
benefits.
so this prison guard
Yes.
was filmed having sex with an inmate and admits another incident on the same day. So apparently, a couple different incidents.
Which one's the guard?
So that's the guard.
She's a guard.
That's the prison guard.
wow.
So she has an OnlyFans account.
Do they not
apparently.
think?
I
did
guess
they
the
not-
makeup and lighting, man, is amazing.
So hold on, wait
That's
till
probably a
wait till
filter.
you see your fucking your
That's-
mugshot.
That's
It's
probably
fucking
a
great.
filter.
Oh, it's total.
Total filter.
All right, so this is her.
Well, that's supposedly.
So
her.
let me give you the background. Prison officer filmed having sex with a burglar a burglar
breaking and entering.
well, entered
Ah.
something.
Don't
It
tell
is-
me.
In his prison cell, has been jailed for 15 months after admitting another incident with the same inmate on the same day.
Oh.
So they banged it out twice, which I find, you know what? I don't shame you.
I got nothing.
You lost your job, but
if I'm in prison, I'm hitting that. I'm just-
Linda D'Souza.
Linda D'Souza Abreu, 30 of Fulham, I don't know where that is, appeared in an explicit video filmed inside HMP Wadsworth
How explicit.
prison in South London, which went viral online last year. Prison officer wearing full uniform was filmed by another prisoner.
Oh wait, so this is in England.
Yeah, in England. Having sex
Hello.
with Linton Wyrick,
Hello.
36, in June, with what the judge described as evident enthusiasm. I have evident enthusiasm all the time.
Sure she was.
She was sentenced on Monday.
Must be very good production value.
At Crown Court, 15 months in prison. All right, so here she is, like going in or out of court.
She was
or
the
whatever.
prison guard?
She was the
This
prison
is in England.
Damn.
So if you're
She
going
missed
to
her
go,
calling.
here's the deal: if you're going to go
That's-
commit crime,
That's
do it in London.
That's who broke and entered.
Yeah. Well, she got broken and entered.
That's who broke and entered.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's the guy. Yeah. I mean, look at him. He's
Is he
living
gonna
the high life.
turn that into an internet fortune.
He
For
is a
himself?
baller. Don't hate the player.
What is it?
Wait, I can't see.
I don't know.
There's a delay
Is,
here.
is that a dude that now looks like a girl? Is that what we got
No,
going
it's
the
on?
hell
that's the same.
happened
That's
to
the
her?
same chick.
I'm
That
just
is
saying.
not the same chick.
That's the same chick.
Is it
I'm
really?
just saying.
Promise
Oh,
you.
God, you wake up next to that.
Hair and makeup, man. Hair, makeup, lighting.
What's with the
It's all-
Cruella
that's all I'm talking
DeVille skunk spot on her?
That's what they call Coyote Ugly.
It is Coyote Ugly. Rather gnaw your arm off. than
But
lift it up.
we normally have. I try to find the hot teacher, fucking football player.
I'll tell you
Well,
what.
we got a prison guard fucking in it.
I will say this: whoever
Just
does
as
her
good.
makeup does a great job
Yeah,
because that
killing it.
is not the same person.
Just
Probably
as
someone else
good.
is making an ass load of money on the internet. We want to talk about our friends over at the Varner Foundation. You
Another
know,
sponsor, by the way.
another sponsor, great sponsor, Dan Varner, a great sponsor of the show. You know, we believe that those who open their hearts and their homes to take care of kids are among the most special of our friends and neighbors, but it can be a strain on anyone's budget. And sadly, more than half of those who engage in this activity give up in their first year of fostering because the resources just aren't there. And that is where the Varner Foundation comes in. 501c3 nonprofit. The Varner Foundation enables foster care agencies to help in a hurry. A car repair, prescription, extra bed, new pair of shoes, hole in the roof. I mean, you name it. Anything can crop up, especially this time of year. And a lot of times, a single phone call gets it done. I'm going to say it, so let's get ready to drink. 100% of the money, 100%.
Oh wait.
Donated to the Varner Foundation goes to the mission, and it is absolutely amazing that they are able to pull that off, but they do. So you can help make a difference in a child's life today by donating to the Varner Foundation. You see the right there on your screen, the VarnerFoundation.org. You can look it up on the internet. Just Google it and it'll take you there. VarnerFoundation.org. And we thank them and Dan Varner for being a great friend of this show and a great guy. And
hey, I saw
everything else.
Speaking of that, I saw a post a lady posted yesterday discussing the runaround she was getting from aid agencies. And she actually turned to the Varner Foundation and was helped immediately and was so
That's fantastic.
So thankful for the help and in need of the help. And, just the quick turnaround, the lack of red tape, and the way Dan stepped up the Varner Foundation. I mean, just amazing work. And Dan is a great guy.
Yep. They do great work. They kill it, and they try to make it as seamless as possible, which I think is fantastic.
Like this time, and Dan's right. This time of year, a lot of people, you're getting your bill for your credit card from the holidays. It's colder than whatever outside. You're paying it. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are struggling to pay their heat, and utilities are going through the roof, right? And Varner Foundation steps up and helps people in need, and that's just amazing work. And I got to salute him. He's a great guy. If you can help, please help.
So let me ask you, it's live on the air.
Oh.
But what's your guys' Tuesday look like? You guys, are you
Tuesday?
Are you on the air Tuesday?
Hold on a second.
Tuesday.
If you don't know, it's okay. We can.
Tuesday will be the last probably day I'll be available because then I have to get ready to go. I got things to do.
Yeah, you're.
I'm gonna. But are you gonna do a show?
More
on
traveling.
Monday?
More traveling for you.
Are you gonna do? I don't like to tell people where I'm at. Do you?
I didn't ask where you were
you
going.
said traveling. That means I could be traveling in my yard. Are you guys gonna do a? Are you guys gonna do a show? Are we gonna have a live show during the inauguration?
I got to look and see if I'm on duty.
I am good on Tuesday.
All right,
that'll be fine.
Tuesday. Tuesday, 5 o'clock.
Inauguration day. I'm on the air that day, 3 to 6.
Tuesday.
Well, but 3 to 6. But the inauguration's in the morning. I think we should do a live little maybe man on the street type.
Well, if he can't,
cubby reporter.
Andrew, if Dan can't, you and I
can carry on without me.
I can make the helicopter noise.
Do whatever you like.
Stop your noise. Stop your chest.
All right, so we will be back at you this coming Tuesday, 5 p.m. Unless it changes, but just
unless it changes.
Unless it changes, but put it in your calendar. Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, 5 p.m.
Which will be 6 days from the inauguration.
Get a couple days, weekend days.
Let's hope that we're not talking about the fires anymore. Let's hope that the weather changes. Let's hope and pray. Although I just saw
did read
breaking
that
noise.
the winds died down today.
Okay, that's
good.
Good.
So I guess that's something.
It's not a lot of blowing going on out there. You know what I heard? That breaking story that the Prince Harry and what's her face's L.A. or California properties at risk. I was like,
oh boy,
Meghan Markle. Don't do it.
You know what? You know what I heard? Tuesday, 5 p.m. Check us out again.